And former Georgia Governor Sonny Perdue joins us now. Until a week ago, he served as Newt Gingrich's campaign co-chair. Now he's advising Tim Pawlenty's campaign. So that's a switch. Governor, good to see you. Thanks so much. First of all, Newt Gingrich, why did you and so many others give up on that campaign?
Well, I still haven't given up on Newt Gingrich. I've given up on his campaign as translating what I believe the brilliance of solutions that Newt possesses into a viable candidacy that was focused on presidential race. And so I still have a great deal of respect for Newt, wish him well, but I know Tim Pawlenty to be the kind of governor that's made tough decisions in a fairly tough environment. And I have confidence that while not showy or flashy, people will find out, Republican primary voters will be able to determine that Tim Pawlenty is the real deal, who has the courage to make tough decisions, which I believe America will need in the next few years.
Now, Newt Gingrich was on Fox, I believe, with Greta, and was very angry about the reporting here and elsewhere, reporting that we stand by here on NBC News, that a lot of the campaign staff who quit because they felt that Callista Gingrich was controlling too many of the decisions and not permitting her husband to do what needed to be done. Let me play a little bit of his response.
Okay.
They quoted reporters talking anonymously about cowardly people who frankly lied about my wife, and I believe NBC owes Callista an apology, because the fact is my campaign is my campaign. These were supposed to be professionals who we were paying, who supposedly had some sense of confidentiality, and who promptly, frankly, did some backstabbing.
Did you have the same, or have you heard the same reports that we had all heard from the staffers? I mean, this is not stuff that anyone here made up, that Callista Gingrich did not have the same vision of her husband being able to go out, schedule events, do the fundraising, that there were times when he would drop out and go to the opera, for instance, which is a great thing to do, but not when you're trying to launch a presidential campaign, to say nothing of a 2-week vacation in the Greek Isles.
Well, I had heard none of that prior to the news break after the event of the staff resigning. Frankly, Newt is right. It is his campaign, and the marital relationship, frankly, is supreme to the candidacy, and I agree with that. But the fact is, a presidential primary campaign is a grueling marathon that requires the absolute focus not only of the candidate, but his or her spouse as well. It requires sacrifice on both parts, and I have no inside knowledge of how the campaign staff felt about that. We didn't talk about that at all, and I made my decision basically solely on what I felt as a person and as a friend that had agreed previously to support Newt.
And why did you decide to leave the campaign? What were the factors that made you decide that?
Well, I think earlier I talked about, I thought the Newt's campaign lacked the focus and the vibrancy that failed to translate in the connectivity with the American public. And I think there were several missteps that became cumulative that I became increasingly concerned about. And I think certainly the Mediterranean visit that maybe have been planned demonstrated a lack of focus and a lack of commitment there that concerned me to a great degree.
Governor, do you have any concerns about the fact that Tim Pawlenty, your choice now, was only at 4% among Republicans in our new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll?
I'm not supporting Tim Pawlenty because of what the polls say. The primary is a long marathon vetting process, and I am convinced that the more the American people and the Republican primary voters learn and see of Tim Pawlenty, they will gain the respect that I have for him as a sound, solid citizen that is prepared to lead this country to make the tough decision that America needs, not in a few years as earlier, but right today.
Governor Sonny Perdue, thanks so much for joining us from Georgia. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Andrea.